Hello everyone and welcome to the grand finale of Jam Enslaver Plays Shadow of the Colossus, episode 16. You might be wondering why I'm starting off on this loading screen instead of where I usually do in the shrine. And the reason is, as you might be able to see, there's a 2 next to this save point, and 0 defeated, and 8 hours and 20 minutes against it. Because I recorded a 2-hour previous episode of this, previous version of this episode, episode 16, and the MP4 got corrupted. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe my hard drive ran out of space or something weird happened. It was a very, very long file. As I said, it was about 2 hours, so maybe that's it. But yeah, so I'm recording this again. Hopefully that won't affect the quality of everything. It'll probably be a much shorter episode because I now know what I'm doing. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out the puzzle to the Colossus, but I can still share it with you. I thought it was interesting. I'm starting here because I didn't realize that moving around this screen actually highlights where you are, and this highlights the difference between the beginning and the end of the game. I thought that those clouds disappear, but you never really see it happen. Anyway, so we're going to load up this one, and we're going to get right to it. For people who read my blog, jamenslaver.com, you will have read a few of the video problems that I've had making this series, or rather, I suppose, just the challenges that I've had to contend with in doing these long-form videos, which is not something I usually do. It's interesting that you guys are actually seeing this. I'm going to skip past these because you've seen this, but this is actually a little trick of the trade that on loading a save, it replays the clue, which is, after a week of playing, always a good way for me to remember what happened at the end of last week's episode. And so going back to the blog, I explain a lot of how all that stuff works in there, and my recording setup, and the trials and tribulations, and the fact that I got myself a new computer. Alright, it's pointing over there, but I know I actually need to go over there. Because my old computer was straining under the load of such long videos. And I even said in the last episode that I was glad that I upgraded my computer, because my old computer would be having major problems with this boss battle. Ironically, the problems that my old computer had at least were recoverable. I have no idea what happened with this last episode, but it just... something weird happened. And it's interesting, so the device that I used to record this footage out of the PlayStation 3 is a Roxio HD, HD Pro, which I have so many good things to say about. It works super well, and the software, they're still supporting it, and one of the cool things they added was MP4 support. So I'm trying to think of what other... which way am I? Yeah, I'm going the right way. I'm trying to think of previous videos I've made using it, because it actually hasn't been that many, because most of the stuff that I do is on PC, which I use other things like Hypercam to record, or Fraps. I think the Beatles Rock Band, I think that was a Roxio video, and at the time that I did that, which is about... well, about 2 years ago at this point, actually. I'm going to ignore that save point, because I know that there's one directly in the line of in the path of where I need to go, so I'm not going to bother with them. Oh, I can see a lizard over there, though. I think I'm coming to this in a different direction from the way I went last time. I don't remember. This is weird. This is oddly unfamiliar, considering that I did this all last night. I do not remember this landscape at all, but I did spend a very long time trying to figure all this out, trying to solve that puzzle. And the Beatles Rock Band at the time, when I recorded that, which as I said was about 2 years ago, the software that drives the Roxio only supported the M2... I'm trying to remember what it's actually called, the M2TC... or M2TS file format, which is the file format that Blu-rays use, but it's not a file format that... what am I doing? What's going on here? How do I get down there? It's not a full file format that my video editing software can recognize. and as a result, I had to transcode it over. And the software itself would do that for you, if you wanted it to. Like it had, or it has, I should say, a fairly bare bones video editing suite, and you could use that and just dump the whole video into the timeline and then render it as an MP4. And it was time consuming and a little bit annoying. And so it was quite nice that when I started preparing for these videos, the software updated itself and actually added MP4 support. But all the MP4 support really does is just add an automatic encoding step after you finish recording. So right now, as I'm speaking, it's still recording in M2 ST. I don't remember what I said the first time. And when I hit stop, it will transcode it into MP4. So that's... Ooh, whoa, hey. So that's kind of annoying because, like, the whole... I'm pretty sure that the whole video file was there when I hit stop recording, and it was the encoding step that failed. And I even looked at the file at the time that thing was running, because it keeps both files, which I think is ultimately what led the hard drive to run out of space. And it only deletes the original source file once it's done transcoding into MP4. So, yeah. Not good. Especially after 2 hours. But the good thing is that you guys get to see a much cleaner version of this final chapter of the game, because I didn't do a great job. I mean, there was a lot of discovery. I shot that guy. Come on. What? And he runs right at me? These guys gave me a lot of trouble last time. Especially this guy, actually. These guys are jerks. Come on. Getcha. Screw it. It doesn't do anything anyway. Not really. I think it gives you like a temporary buff, but I think as soon as you save at a save point, it nullifies the buff, so it doesn't really matter. And anyway, I know what I'm doing. Which one was it? It's probably it was this one that I saved in last time. Valley Plain. Yeah. Oh, it just occurred to me that I should mention that I died in the previous episode, or I should say the lost episode. A couple of times. Including some places that were kind of bad from a narrative perspective. I won't say anything more than that. But yeah, this last chapter of the game is much more challenging than the previous chapters. Here we go. Run, 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 run. Woof! There we go. Uh-oh. Oh! Even having seen it before, it's really sad. Man. And it just kind of... It's almost like a metaphor. Like, this journey that this character has been on has taken so much, including the last friend that he ever had, Agro, the horse, trusty companion and sidekick. And now he has to go on alone. And I think it's this way. Yeah, that, it took me a little while to figure out that bridge the last time. You know what, I'm just gonna stop referencing the previous episode and just say things as they come to me. And if I don't comment on something, well, then we'll just have to learn to live with that. It is weird that I think this is the only the second time in the whole game, the previous time being the first chapter, where there's this fuzzy stuff on the wall that you need to climb. It's kind of interesting. It's like a book ending of the game mechanics in some way, because that's kind of the maybe not the first thing they get you to do, because the first thing they get you to do is ride a horse, and clearly that's not going to happen anymore. But yeah, like one of the first things they get you to do is grab onto this wall before you even get to a Colossus. I kind of appreciate that. I appreciate that the tutorialization of this game is dealt with in that little cliff valley area directly before the first Colossus, and that like the actual Colossus himself is kind of pure. Like they don't sully it too much with text. I didn't realize I can jump 2 at a time on those. Oh. Wearing a big skirt, this guy. Wow, the weather really changes on you, doesn't it? Is the wind coming from the Colossus? Or is it just coming from behind him? It's got those horns there. That's a little bit like the Dragonborn from Skyrim. This guy's kind of interesting because he doesn't really move. It's definitely a hallmark of the other Colossi. That they're like, whoa! They're like mobile levels, and this guy's not quite as mobile. He just kind of stands there and throws these lightning bolts at you. Whoa! Still kind of scary, even down here in the trenches. Apparently the trenches aren't shelter from... Ow! Jeez. Took a little bit of health there. Funny that, like, even you can see the texture, the particle effects of the rain going through these barriers. This game is 11 years old. At the time we didn't notice stuff like that. Down the hole. I think there are multiple ways of progressing towards him, because most of the platforming elements well, not the platforming elements, but most of the initial puzzle of this Colossus is just trying to figure out how to get close to him without him just blasting you, because he does a lot of damage. I can confirm that my memories of that are correct. He kills you really quickly if you just rush around in the open. Ah, don't fall. Whoa, that was a weird camera angle shift. Alright, here we go. Is he gonna fire another one? Well, that's sinister. Okay, there we go. Whoa. Okay, so... Oh, there we go. So this gap here is too long for me to run. I spent a really long time here in the previous episode trying to figure this out, and the key is to stand in a place where he can see you when he's shooting at you, and then to wait for him to shoot, which is a very distinctive sound, and then just to run. There we are. Oh, jeez. Well, my overconfidence is going to be the death of me. Whoa. Wait, what's that? There's like a separate hole right here. Oh no. Oh god. Okay, I need to get out of the way. Well, that didn't happen last time. I guess we get to explore some more of these caves. I think this is where I was last time. Yeah, I think... No, I came from that direction. Yeah, I need to go this way. Wait. No? Okay, the camera is kind of telling me I need to go. Oh, okay, alright, I know where I am. Okay. This isn't really one of those games. I've been playing Fury on the PS4 because it was free on PlayStation Plus. Not normally a game I would play. If you don't know Fury, it's a bit like a boss rush game, so it has some thematic similarities to this game, but it's very Devil May Cry. It's very execution heavy, very skill and timing focused. Nope. I don't play a lot of those games, but there's definitely that trait that you... Jesus! Oh, wow. Huh. So as I was saying, there's man, this guy's a real beast. I'm dying in places where I didn't. Okay, I can at least I'm here. I'm dying in places that I did not die my first time through, which just goes to show. So what I was talking about with Fury is that there's a thing that I'm sure anyone who plays any kind of execution skill-based game will attest to, that overconfidence is a killer, and that if you start to get impatient because you think, oh, no, I did this part already, I did this, I should be able to just skip ahead, but the game makes you do the same part again and execute on it perfectly, then that can actually suddenly become, like, parts that weren't difficult before can suddenly become really difficult. Apparently like this part. I mean, this part's not difficult, but yeah, like I didn't even know he could shoot me in this little area that's coming up. And the fact that he just knocked me off the cliff, that's crazy. Well, I guess you get to see me die anyway. I was thinking that maybe I could call that a success, that I managed to finish the game without dying. Kind of cheating, redoing the last chapter, but nope. I guess we're going to be honest with this one. You're going to see genuinely how well or how poorly I did. Which I have to say is better than the first time playing through the game. Because I definitely died on a couple of the earlier Colossi the first time through the game. So the fact that I actually managed to get this far, I'm actually quite pleased with. Take that as a personal victory. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Is he gonna shoot again? Yes. Okay, let's get over here. Okay. And the thing about this area is if you get hit, you generally fall into this trench behind me. Whoa. Alright. Let's not be... Oh, that was really close. That was closer than I thought it would be. Okay, but we're here now. It is interesting dying for the first time. That we actually get to experience this game's checkpoint system, which is better than I anticipated, or better than I thought it was. Because it has checkpoints, which I didn't think it did. Specifically, you saw it there. It seems to checkpoint you when the Colossus first shows itself. I was thinking that it would force you to go all the way back to the previous save point. And people who've been watching this series for a while will probably remember me even being surprised that there were mid-chapter save points. But I mean, there would have to be. This game is old, but it's not that old. But it's funny, these mechanics. You kind of hold the current state of how things should be in your head. You don't really remember where gaming was in times past. You kind of have this, at least for me, I have this general idea that, oh, old games, either they had checkpoints and saves and everything you kind of expect nowadays, or they didn't. Like, it was a binary thing. It was either old school NES games that might have a system save but definitely didn't have checkpoints. And most of the time would just be, oh, you died, you have to start over again from the beginning. So yeah, it's interesting to see that, as you would probably expect, that road leading us to where we are today with modern games, where you can genuinely, like, I think you can genuinely complain with modern games if a game costs you more than, say, let's say 15 minutes of gameplay. I think you will be justified in being annoyed at that. So anyway, so I hit him in that weak point there, and then he's like, what is this? And he kind of holds you in the same way that I would have if there was an ant on me, or a ladybird. He kind of holds you on the back of his hand in an oddly whimsical way, considering that this Colossus is kind of the most aggressive one. Why is my dude not... okay, here we go. Considering this is the most aggressive one, he's oddly whimsical in the way that he holds you. I guess maybe because he casts fireballs out of his hands, and now that I'm on his hand, he can't really do that. So this is the part that took me ages to figure out. I need to shoot him in the shoulder, and then grab on. So we've just gone past the part which makes this video about 20 minutes shorter than the previous version. And I even know that I can hang out here and he's not going to do anything. Whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, he kind of still moves, but he doesn't really know I'm here until I grab onto his hair. So his armor plate must be pretty thick. I never really noticed that as a pattern with the Colossi before, of if you're standing on their armor. Okay, I'm just going to let him do his thing. If you're standing on their armor, they don't seem to be able to feel you and be aware of your presence. It's not really a gameplay mechanic that's come into this playthrough, at least. So I did very briefly have a version of the... well, that missed. I did have a version of the previous episode that I managed to recover somewhat. I downloaded a tool from the internet which compared my broken MP4 with an okay MP4 from the previous episode 15, the previous episode. And it managed to spit out something. It wasn't as long as the previous episode. There was a lot missing, and the audio was all kind of messed up. So I was briefly contemplating the idea of, because my voice is recorded separately, so that was all fine. I was contemplating the idea of releasing that video just with no sound effects, and I decided against that. If nothing else, because I would have had to do some trickery at the end of the video to kind of... I think the video had managed to get beyond the part where I was playing, so I would have to just replay this boss battle, record the ending of the game part, and basically sort of stitch them together and act like nothing happened. Because the end of the game, as you can imagine, is a video game, so there's a lot of stuff where there's non-interactive elements. It's just watching things happen. I'm gonna get off his head here. Let's get my stamina back. Yeah, so I considered doing that, but one of the reasons I didn't is because the sound in this game is really good, and also I figured that expecting people to... Oh, can you feel me if I'm standing on that neck? Expecting people to watch 2 hours of this game with nothing except just me talking would maybe be a little bit much. The reason that came to mind just now was because it just occurred to me that this game's soundtrack is really good. This music that we're hearing right now, not really... I don't think it fits the mood of what's happening here. Like, what happened to the theme that we're used to hearing with the Colossi? Couple more hits, we should get it. Yeah, this feels like a much more epic moment than what the music is saying. Alright, I think we're gonna get this. I think once he holds his head still, I need to move. Okay, here we go. There we go. Oh, and he grabs his face. Man. Oh, for a second it looked like his arm was about to fall off. And he's losing a bunch of... Oh, can I... Whoa! Can I jump? Kind of floating above the ground there. And I suppose one thing that you guys won't get to see is the trophies that I got for this episode. I've been kind of pleased that they've been popping off as I've been playing, but this episode you won't see them because I've already got them. Anyway, we rejoin our horse riding friends, and they finally made it to the bridge. Wonder how they open that door. This guy. Got kind of it's just suddenly got a weird Army of Two vibe of like this guy and being like, okay, time to work, put down the mask. I feel like I'm probably the first person ever to draw comparisons between Army of Two and Shadow of the Colossus, but that's what you get when you listen to someone like me play a game like this. And they're wearing kind of similar robes, or like the pattern on his robe. Oh, and his robe is kind of similar to mine. I wonder if he's my son. He's my father. I wonder if I'm his son. Because the soldiers don't have that pattern. It's just me and the Colossi and Lord Aemon, I guess. Oridarani. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the longest word for no I've ever heard. 4 syllables. We got a bit of epic music. And she's still lying there. And this guy is lying there, or standing there, kind of bereft. And I'm out here, still. There's a lot of weird audio cuts in this chapter, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit distracting. I feel like I have a pretty good instinct for at least what sounds good to me from an audio mix. And I'm sure some of you will have noticed that in this last chapter there have been a couple of moments where you've had like quite a loud sound, like a whooshing wind sound effect, which has been suddenly cut off, and then maybe some music starts or something, and the music back there sounded like it was starting, like it wasn't fading in, it was just there, which is a bit strange. And we find out how I managed to get back to the shrine every time, which is that something weird lifts me up and drops me here, and then these weird guys from a posse. Oh, yeah, that's not good. I wonder what this language is. It doesn't sound Japanese. I wonder if they just made up a language like Game of Thrones. Or if it's some kind of adaptation of Japanese or something. Because like the vowel sounds sound a little bit Japanese, but maybe that's just a factor of the fact that it's a Japanese actor delivering them. That's gotta hurt. Oh, the shadows are kind of afraid of this guard brandishing the sword. Uh-oh. Managed to find my weak point. Now there's all this black stuff spewing out of it. Still not moving. Dorman still hasn't delivered on what he promised. Did he promise anything, or did he just strongly imply that he would help if we helped first? It's hard to tell. I've never really trusted Dorman, and I don't think that's necessarily because I know like this game is old, and I know from reading stuff about it and knowing how it ends this time around, knowing that he's not a benevolent presence. He kind of always felt like a malevolent kind of dude. This big disembodied voice kind of booming out saying, I need you to destroy things for me. Oh. And then we have things like this, which just kind of confirm those suspicions. The guy delivering those lines is really chewing on those words. It's like so this is interesting. It's like, so Dorman was like the Colossus, and then they split his body into lots of different pieces and made 16 different Colossi. Huh. So I just didn't really think about this, but that's kind of, so like I am the shadow of the Colossus. Like, Dormin is the Colossus. That's how they were able to create all the other Colossi, by splitting them into different pieces. Hey, check it out! I'm a giant guy now. Now I'm a Colossus. Ooh, and I can actually knock them down. Can I actually hurt them? I can't really move very easily in this form. And yeah, so like... Hey. No, you don't. Where are you going? They're actually doing damage to me. You really can't turn very easily in this form. Which is weird, because I have all these legs. You would think you'd be very agile. Ow! Stop that! Jerks! Can I move backwards? Oh, does he? Oh, it kind of controls like the horse. Alright, I'm gonna get you. Come back here. Oh, but he walks so slowly. Well, I guess the Colossi weren't exactly great speedsters when I was fighting them, and that kind of worked in my favor. There's like an arrow sticking up out of my shoulder. They're not really making great headway either, though, are they? Like, if there was a gigantic shadow beast chasing me, I think I would be running a bit faster than that. Ready, my horse. It's the white one, remember? Hey, check out my friendship bracelets. Or my rave bracelets, more like. Yeah, they're kind of like those. They're kind of freaking out a little bit. Maybe a little bit too much physics on those. Oh right, that's him. I was going to say, who's that standing up there? That's him. And he doesn't have horns. So I'm kind of a bit of an abomination at this point. Whoa. Do I have control? I can move the camera, but I don't have control right now. Yeah, it's still a super weird design choice that I can move the camera around like this. It kind of just makes things confusing. Anyway. And suddenly all that was left was me. The shadow. Oh, no. Oh. Can I jump? Jump. Nope. That makes it worse. Oh, that just means I keep falling over. I don't have my weapons, so I have my... Wait, they didn't take my bow. Why don't I have my bow? I should be able to use my bow to do something. Oh! There I go. That is a really long bridge. I don't think I've really appreciated how long it is. You don't really ever see it in its full length like that. Oh, it's like it's magically falling down. It was almost like it was designed to be that way. Like those blocks that are disappearing are magically linked to the integrity of the shrine or something. And when that's broken, or when they're forced to seal away the monster inside it. Which, incidentally, I mentioned this in the previous episode, but I'm going to mention it now. Why did they not do that before? Still not entirely clear. They had this power on this gigantic portal. I guess it always seems safer to the people in a story to split up the evil thing than to banish it outright. Yeah, but I suppose you have more than enough stories of evil coming back, having been banished, and then just as many of the evil being split into multiple pieces. You know, Superman is the former, Harry Potter is the latter. So I guess you can't really say one way or the other. Usually when there's a narrative that you need, evil will find a way. And now we have the other character that we've been with this whole time. And she's waking up for the very first time. God, that's gotta really be a shock to the system. I wonder what happened to her. That she died, I guess. Like, who is she? I'm now starting to wonder if the main character is that Lord's son, which I kind of like that theory, because they both have those patterns on their cloaks. Does that mean that this is actually his daughter, and that the main protagonist and this girl are brother and sister? Because she has like nice patterned clothes as well. Not the same kind of pattern, not really, but oh hey! Yeah! Nothing can keep aggro down. But yeah, like, actually them being brother and sister, like, I had always assumed that it was some kind of romantic thing, or at least like a very strong friendship. I never really considered the possibility that maybe they were brother and sister. Yeah, interpretation is interesting. The animations on the horse, just so good. I don't think there's been a horse that's been better animated since. Like, horse animations have come a long way, but considering that this is 11 years old, I don't think anything is better than it. I think it is just a motion captured horse. It must be, because they're just so accurate. It really portrays a horse in such a great way. In such a way that games that 10 years previously, well, not 10 years previously, like, I'm thinking of the way Epona moves in Ocarina of Time, where she just kind of turns on a sixpence. But anyway, that's Shadow of the Colossus, everyone. And now we get this little recap of the havoc that we've wrought and all the different colossi that we've defeated over our time together here. Some really memorable battles. It'd be interesting to know if this was the first game that made boss battles the entire point of the game, because that's kind of a genre now. There are some here and there that you get. I mentioned Fury earlier. I mean, you get boss rush modes in games like Devil May Cry, but that what is it called? Titan Souls. Titan Souls is kind of like a boss game. It kind of borrows more from the school of Mega Man, I think, of letting you tackle them in any order. But yeah, I'm gonna say this is probably one of the more early examples of a game where it was all boss battles, and that kind of makes sense. I mean, it's cheating a little bit, this game, because there is very strong platforming involved with all of the bosses, which kind of gives the game its hook. It's a platformer and it's a boss rush game. It's both. But yeah, like, boss design and boss battles are very expensive from a development perspective because they're not repeatable. None of the assets you made for, say, this dog Colossus that we can see in front of us you couldn't really use those for this other guy. Ugh, this guy. He took me a while to figure out. And so in the early days of video games, where everything was very tile-based and you didn't have a lot of memory to play around with, it didn't really make a lot of sense to only have a game with boss battles in it. You wanted something, you wanted it like a longer experience, something that you could make out of pieces, like Lego, with levels and platforming and that kind of thing. Which is not to take away from that kind of game. There's a definite art to creating these levels and the assets for the levels. But yeah, like basing the entire levels around a single character, each one perfectly unique. Not something you could do in the early days of gaming. This area is called the Forbidden Lands. So you would think that they would have removed all ways of getting into it, starting with that giant bridge. But I guess not. Perhaps one day, make a turn for what you've done. So yeah, the design of this game is really incredible, and so I'm actually looking forward to seeing what a 2016 game from this team looks like. And also what Pray for the Gods looks like, which is definitely a spiritual, not exactly a spiritual successor, but definitely a descendant of this game design, but with a lot more modern elements mixed in, with things like the crafting, the survival, and that kind of thing. It's going to be really interesting to see how that game turns out. Oh, hey, it's a little baby, tiny horns. Oh, interesting. So the main character's name is Wanda. Mono? Who's Mono? Is that her? Is Hitomi a woman's name? I'm not that great with Japanese names, I have to say. The reason I'm confused is because I don't know if she speaks. Maybe she does. The funny thing about video games, and with animation in general, is that like everything is made. I suppose actually in terms of like voices for anything, even non-animated media, you have to have a person there making those noises, those gasps and verbalizations. Even if there's no actual speaking, you tend to have different people playing those things, those parts. Aggro's leading the way. You really should rest that leg, Aggro. It's not good to... Well, I suppose technically he is resting it because he's not walking on it, but that back right leg of his is going to be really sore. Moment of peace. There's something nice about flowing water. It's like a garden up here. This was here the whole time. Didn't even know about it. There's birds singing. There's trees. It's nice up here. Very peaceful. Oh, there's a deer. Deer's curious, probably hasn't seen anyone in quite some time. It's like, what is this thing? Got like a really big deer and a strange deer, a strange white deer that's standing on its hind legs. And a squirrel, or chipmunk. got stripes, so I'm going to say it's a chipmunk. And the birds are all coming. And suddenly the game got very Disney. Except for the horns, I guess. And we fly away once more with the eagle. Harkening all the way back to episode 1 at the very beginning, when we first got to see the lay of this land from above. Plus, the temple really goes up, doesn't it? It's really tall. It's like Japanese traditional music, this. Wouldn't be able to tell you the name of this stringed instrument we can hear playing. It's kind of like a, I think it's like a hammer, like a harpsichord you play with hammers instead of with, well, with keys. It's a really cool noise. It's almost, it kind of sounds a little bit like a mandolin. There's definitely a piano in there somewhere, but that's not what's creating the main voice of the music. Gosh, look at all those pillars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not even half of the destruction. I wonder what'll happen to those Colossi remains now that no one's going to come to this area anymore. Who knows? Maybe we'll find out at the end of this year. Maybe we did find out in Eco. I've not played that game. I will at some point, since I have it here. But yeah. That's it. That's the end of the game. A really, really special game. Definitely a one of a kind that I'm kind of surprised that more designers haven't taken advantage of. Yes, I would like to save. And you know what? I'm going to save in the same save slot that I saved the previous time in. There we go. Because it does make a difference. Let's see, how much quicker did I do that? So it was 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Sorry, 8 hours and 20 minutes. Wow. A whole hour shorter. Well, I guess you guys can be thankful that you didn't have to sit and watch me not solve that puzzle for an hour. But yeah, there we go. That's the end of the game. And here we are with the eagle again. Thank you so much everyone for watching. One last time I'll remind you that you can follow me on Twitter at Enslaver, like me on Facebook, facebook.com/JamEnslaver, and you can go to JamEnslaver.com to read more about the making of these videos. I know I went into a bit of detail about it this last episode, but there's way more stuff on the blog. Which is also where you're going to be able to find out what I'm doing next. This has obviously been a very long video project, about 4 months in the making. So I'm actually going to be taking a step back from making videos and doing something else. Not really ready to go into detail about what that is, but something I've been wanting to do, something I've been meaning to do for a very long time, and I'm very excited about it. So yeah, if you want to see more about that, you know where to find me. But until then, thank you so much for joining me on this epic quest. There have been ups and downs, and I can now say that it's finally over. So until I see you again, goodbye.